Hello guys, welcome to another review of BM345 reviews. Today's review is on Turning Red. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant Gillman Teenage Kraken. Nah, I don't really know much about this movie other than the fact that it was announced back in 2021 and it was in production around 6 to 5 years. And it was originally a PG-13 movie before it was changed to a PG movie. And the marketing is pretty weird. Like, most movies release their trailers around 4 to 8 months from their release, but this film got marketing only for 3 months, which is kind of weird. So, let's start the review. Tell me if you haven't heard of this story before. There's this teenager who wants to be normal, finds out he has superpower abilities that her mother hid out, and trying to adapt his family to royalty. The one thing that I'm worried since the beginning was it was gonna be a ripoff of Turning Red or Luca, because how similar it is. Well, I was right. This film kinda is a ripoff of Turning Red. Like, seriously. It has the similar type of characters who are both teenagers who have supernatural abilities. Which makes the story kind of predictable since the trailers already spoil what's gonna happen. And also, there are some questions that were not answered, like why in the world did the Krakens and the mermaids hate each other? Is it because they're evil or something? Is it because somebody caused a race war? I don't know, the movie doesn't even answer it. This makes the movie even worse because look what they did to Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It has a well-written story, so what the heck happened during the production of this movie? Like, seriously, they could have easily done revisions to the script, but they didn't, so they just rolled with it with the material they've got already. The comedy is non-existent. There's no point in this movie where I've gotten any laughs. With a story that doesn't even focus on world building, it ignores it, feels like this movie was aiming at the teenage audience just to get the monies. Next, we have the animation. Well, it's nice to see beautiful animation in a DreamWorks film. Like, everything is color bright, like everything is nice to look at, but when you see the humans, you honestly get into the uncanny valley because this is like the third time where the humans are completely uncanny. Are you kidding me? DreamWorks has already done great human designs since Shrek. The character designs of Monsters vs. Aliens are more appealing to look at than this. Also, I kinda miss the Spider-Verse animation. Like, why in the world did they decide to change it? Like, is the Spider-Verse animation only for a few films and that's it? Like, why did you not use the Spider-Verse animation? Like, that's what made Puss in Boots and the Bad Guys a great film. And I don't even like how everything is simplistic in this movie. Like, there's nothing new to look at besides the Krakens and the mer people. Although this isn't great animation, I won't say that it's DreamWorks awful animation. Like, I have seen awful animation before. I will give point that it is colorful, like I said before, and some of the characters move like they're from the 1930s cartoons, which is pretty good, to be honest. This may not be DreamWorks' greatest animation, but it's appealing to look at with the exception of a few flaws. And finally, let's move on to the characters, which aren't even good. They're just completely underdeveloped or completely uninteresting with the script that they have to work with. Starting with Ruby herself, she's your typical teenager who discovers that she's had supernatural abilities that were hidden by her mother. And also trying to be the next queen of her kingdom. Then there's Agatha, Ruby's mom, who's basically moved to the human world because the environment isn't good for her to live in. Then there's Grandmama, who's basically a ripoff of Shifu from the Kung Fu Panda series, but replaced Kung Fu with royalty instead. And finally, we have Nerissa, also known as Chelsea, who's basically the main villain of the film. Screw spoilers, you already know that she's the villain because of the trailers. You already know that she's actually the freaking villain of this movie. Despite being a fan favorite character, she's not that interesting of a villain unlike other DreamWorks villains from the past. She's just an uninteresting villain because she's a villain for reasons. That's it. The film doesn't even explain it. She's just evil for the sake of being evil. Which, this is kind of disappointing to hear that this is from a DreamWorks villain, since we've already had Jack Horner in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and he was a good villain, so what the heck happened? Like, seriously. With the other characters, well, I don't think that they're important. Like, they barely have any screen time or have moments to begin with. There might be some good characters in this movie, but it's kind of hard since there's barely any of them. And because of that, the characters are boring and forgettable at best. I have one question to say to this, DreamWorks. What were you guys thinking? Like, seriously, you could have done revisions. Like, change the script many times. Make it as good as this recent one. But no, you decided to keep rolling with it. And also, what's with the inconsistency with the animation? Like, we have the Spider-Verse style animation in Puss in Boots and the Bad Guy, so why did you use normal animation in this one? This is the first time where the film is written by an AI. Like, seriously, that's what it feels like. Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken isn't a good film either. I won't say that it's the worst film. Like, I have seen worse out there, but with a story like this, with the comparisons with Turning Red, it's completely inexcusable, as well as not answering its world building and memorable characters. For my recommendation, I would just rent it just for the kids. That's it. And I'm hoping for Kung Fu Panda 4 to be their saving grace.